Yes, back again for a second time. Um, Obviously, the show is all about the state of football in South Africa. I mean, it's very dire, and I've had this chats along with Mamen Young already. Just trying to add my guest here who's having problems. I don't know why he's not appearing. My guy, your phone is doing the other things again. That's refusing to add you, guys. It's refusing to add you. Having problem with my guests, obviously here. I'm still live, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, we have a problem in terms of seriously kidding me. It's refusing to add. It's refusing to add you, bro. So I don't know. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. I was wondering
Awesome,
why.
awesome.
I was wondering why I used to add you there for a minute. I was like,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, guys. Good evening. I'm gonna try this again with the intro. Welcome to the Little Football TV. We obviously this is a podcast. This is like more or less an unfiltered podcast. I've had these podcasts before. This is probably the third or fourth one. We will be discussing the state of football in South Africa and the state and the development. That includes the structures and how poorly things are run around the country at the moment. Obviously, you heard the comments from our national team coach who came on and addressed this issue already. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Bugaman, Bugaman TV, aka Manzolane. Um, Once again, man, yeah. How's everything been going, my friend?
Well, ngiyabulisa kuwe. Yes, I am Thembela Mandela. I host the Bugaman TV. I have a network called Thembela Mandela Network, which presents the Bugaman TV and Team and Show. Otherwise, I'm all good, man. Yeah, what you asking about Bafana Bafana? I watched them play, and it was it was not good what I saw, especially tactically from what the coach was implementing or trying to implement. And it's just we have no loyalty in our. I think I said this before. We have no loyalty in our own coaching. I mean, here, Pito has just been let go by Al Ali, and I think a source has come out that he's a better candidate to be leading Bafana or any other coach. I mean, there's so many coaches in South Africa. I mean, Eric Tinkler, the Benny McCarthy, who I mentioned before, who's been doing well for the past couple of years of when he was appointed. He got his coaching badges and even more.
Yeah, man, definitely. There is candidates available for the job, but the problem I have with this, even with the best coaches around, we've been hiring the best coaches around, but I feel like this stems again from structure. At the end of the day, you can have all the best coaches and all put them on the same bench, and would still not get where we need to get, because at the end of the day, it's all dependent on how well our structure is. When I look at the national team, there's no identity. Can you actually sit down and say, do we have an identity where every manager that walks in has to adhere to that same style of play, or the same the way we want to play as a national team? Because I feel like we don't have it. And how can you promote or hope to promote development and bring through quality of players when they don't even know which way or how to play and how we can utilize them, because at the end of the day, when we talk about style of play, we're not just talking about how football is played, but we're talking about a style of football which is going to fit the way our bodies are. Because if you look at South Africans, we're not really the most masculine people on the continent. So we cannot be playing like these high balls, and we're not the tallest in the continent either. So, we have to play a style of play where that's why I've always said that the Kasi style of football, the way we used to play and growing up was actually fitted us better, because playing the ball on the ground and utilizing our skills and, playing in a different way, aside from the European side of football, was always going to fit us better. And that's why that I saw the video of the game where Orlando Pirates was playing Tottenham. Apparently, someone posted it on YouTube, and they were saying, the Europeans were saying, why aren't you guys playing like this anymore? What happened to this style of football? Because we're embarrassing Spurs. Pirates was embarrassing Spurs. You understand? And that's the style of football that we want to see play. And now we bring in these European managers in here and telling us we need to start playing the way they play outside there. It's not gonna work. Where has it worked? Can you give me proof where it has worked? It hasn't worked. So they have to analyze that. Whichever manager we bring in needs to be allowed to, I feel like needs to have the power to be able to say, okay, I want the development size, the under 23s, the under 20s, you understand, I want them playing a specific style of football, which means that when they walk into the first team, they already know what they're getting themselves into. They already adapted to that style. They already understand what is expected from them on the football side. So what do you think about that? Because remember, I spoke to you about this because I was always saying that on your show. I think we were on your show on Sunday. We spoke about this, we detailed this, and we saw that it was gonna take forever, but we've got forever now. So let's discuss this and let's get more into it. So what do you think about this?
Well, I mean, on my side, I just think that it has to deal with the structures of who is taking part into the management of like SAFA. SAFA do not know how to run. They do not know who to appoint or even to delegate to having scouts for upcoming players. I mean, under 23, under 17, it should be a point where these players are the same players that come up from rank to rank, but it seems to not be happening. I mean, if you look at the under 17 team, it's hardly broadcast on TV, so we really do not know how it's going, what is happening from the under 17 to under 23. I mean, we had those crop of players where they came from. Quinton Fortune. I mean, Quinton Fortune came from under 23, and then he filtered into the national side. And there were many players, the likes of Benny McCarthy, the likes of, I would say, Shoes Musheu. All these players, they came from that crop. But now there's no development. There's no academy. There's no like leadership. No one knows, and it stands first from ESAFA. They appoint. It seems like to me they're appointing their friends that have money, and those people that have money usually do not have the capability of running sports academies. You have a cup like the playoffs. I've actually been checking out the playoffs, and even there, the structures are not strong enough to deal or to crop new players to come up to the ranks of playing in Bafana or playing in any club. So my problem, it has to stem from from SAFA.
Yeah, man, and you made some great points there. It all starts from SAFA. It has to start from our footballing organization at the end of the day. You know, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's always gonna be corruption involved, and it's sad that people don't realize this. Every football association is corrupt. You have to understand that they're all corrupt. But the difference, I think, in Europe is that they won't let the corruption get in the way of their football. They never allow that, And whereas here in South Africa, this has filtered from the political stance, and now it has got into what you call it, the football side of things as well, and it has sort of like kind of ended the way we don't have a say in how we want to do things, because at SAFA, I mean, you can't sit here and say we can't do this, we can't do that. We have ex-players, guys. We have people who are doing coaching badges. We've got all these guys. Why aren't these guys pushed? Why aren't you promoting these guys and making them the center of everything? If you look at the Dutch football, the Dutch history and Dutch football in its entirety, there's a lot of ex-players involved, even at clubs, at club level, that are involved as sporting directors, that are involved as technical directors within all those football clubs. There's a foundation there. There's a local foundation in those leagues and everything. That's why the style of football, it's not hard for a player who can step up from club football and go to national team, because more or less in those leagues there's a certain standard of style of play that is being implemented. Here in South Africa, I mean, everyone plays differently. There's not even a center style where everyone is like, okay, when you look at Chiefs and you look at Pirates, can you actually say that what style of football are they playing? Chiefs 1 minute is playing carpet football, next minute it's playing counter-attack football, the next minute Pirates is playing whatever. We don't even know what they're playing. So when you merge these players, bring them into the national team, and you have an entire different style of football altogether. Like, I'm gonna read what Clone said. He says, I actually thought about this a few weeks ago. Thought to myself, the kids in the hood don't play this. So where in the youth system does the change of style happen? Exactly. Exactly. This is what we were saying. This is what we were saying on on your show, on the Boogerman TV show on your Instagram. That these kids are brought here. They're brought to these teams, and they're brought to these sides where they're now forced to play something entirely different. They have to play sky football now. Where's this coming from? Because at the end of the day, I feel like it's corruption. These guys do know exactly what's happening. It's just corruption, and I feel like it's a whole new entire matter altogether, where it's like all these rich guys who are involved don't care about the football. All they care about is about the returns on the kind of money that they put forward. You understand? They don't really care about the football side of things. Whereas if you look at countries, you can say countries like the owners maybe in Great Britain, and you've got owners maybe in the Saudi Arabian people, or maybe like the Arabs in all. They know how to run football clubs because they're football fans. They'll come there, they'll make sure, okay, we appoint the right people. They appoint the right people to make the right appointments going forward. You understand? So that they build structures. Look at Man City. It's a well-run club. Everyone there knows their job from top to bottom. And who is it owned by? The guy from Dubai. So, like in essence, I feel like here we just stop by corruption, and everyone is trying to be friends with everyone. No one is trying to reach out. People are scared to speak up. I feel like as well, players are being margined. Ex-players are being cast aside. They've been told that, no, you're not coming here. It's just politics, my guy. And unfortunately, we are going to suffer for a very long time. This coach said it now, and only people are only waking up to this now, which is sad. And now they're saying Peter Musimani, putting Peter Musimani as the new manager. Yeah, I can vibe with that idea, but it's still going to lead to failure because there's no structure. What is he dealing with? What is Peter dealing with? He was at Sundowns. Sundowns has structure. You can't tell me that Sundowns doesn't have structure. It's a well-run football club that is built to win. Whoever coaches Sundowns is gonna win. You understand? So you can't really assess that according to that. It's the same way Peter went to Al Ahly. Al Ahly was also built for him to win. It's a team that is built to win with the right ethos, with the right structure, with the right appointments, and with the right goals in mind. What is the national team? Can anyone state the objective and the mission of the national team, what the national team aims to achieve, or rather suffer? Has anyone even asked them that
What
question?
I'm saying is what I'm saying before. I mean, if you look at the South African school football is non-existent. Bafana do not have an academy, so they can't monitor players. Players, I mean, with the likes of, I'll make an example, Thembela Lodge. Like, he's a brilliant player. He's well gifted. He's well skilled. But if you look at him as a player, you might he might not be able to play. I mean, if you look at the old players that we used to have, these players used to go, Abo Sibusiso Zuma, I mean, used to go to other countries and dominate with their way of playing. They had their way of playing. Obviously, they'll have influences from their clubs of how they play, because every country has their own system, like you say. But like, there are so many examples of players that have gone awry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many players. You can make so many examples of players that have been affected by, I would say, the lifestyle of when a player gets picked, even for a national side. These players end up not living up to their bidding. I mean, Jabu Pule is a typical example as well. So there's so many players that have the struggle playing abroad. I mean, and it has to do with how we develop players. We don't run. We just do not develop players right. Not anymore. Not at this time. What's League? I mean, it does what it can, but there's like a gap that's missing in terms of our structures and in terms of our football and how things are run. So this is a very hard debate. Okay.
I mean, can we actually sit here and say we can actually sit here and say it's not a money problem, because the money that's been allocated towards football development in this country is the most in the entire African region. So why can Ghana, why can the likes of Cameroon, why can the likes of all these countries constantly bring through players, and we can't do it? It all comes back to structure, guys. It's not a money problem. Don't. I don't buy this that it's a money problem thing. It's not a money problem thing. It's a structural thing. There's a difference. If you have money and if you don't use it efficiently, it's just as much useless as when you don't have it. But if you have it and you use it efficiently, you can even spend less than what you initially put in your budget. This is a problem. This is a national problem. This is not even just on the football aspect side. It's a whole national problem. So that's actually, at the end of the day, ends up affecting us in other aspects. That's why we always, when we sit here and say that politics don't affect your football side of things, they do. Politics in your country do affect the football side. If your country is not run properly and it's rotten to the core, it's going to affect the sports development and everything else. I feel like the only sport that has implemented this to perfection is cricket, your cricket side, your swimming side, athletics, swimming, and rugby. Rugby as well. Netball, yes, as well. There's development in netball. People don't know this. There's development. South Africa sides do well in netball, and hockey team as well. So, and what's worse is that people say, "Oh, but there's it's because of this." No, there is money allocated to those things, but it's not as much as football. Football is still number one in this country in terms of money allocation. It's still number one. but you don't see how this money is being channeled. There's lack of football channels for like you say, your under 17. When last did you watch your under 17 team, South African team play? When last did you watch your school teams play? Because that's where we need to. There's a channel on SuperSport that prioritizes youth rugby, like rugby school teams. You see your St. Stadiums playing against your St. John's and whatever. You see these teams playing against each other on SuperSport. Where's the channel for school teams or school football? Where are they?
Okay, let me just let you know. I mean, there is the multi-choice disky challenge, which
Yeah, no, I know
happens,
I know about the match, but then what?
yeah,
Like
which is
the school, like your high schools, where are they? I've never seen it. Like, can someone show me a channel where the, like legit, you can watch school teams play against each other? I haven't. We don't get that. We don't get that broadcast. We don't get that push. So this is where, in essence, where you say that money is being wasted here. I don't know where this money is going personally. I think it's going into people's pockets more than it's actually going into proper development. Because if it was going where it's supposed to be getting, we should be breeding the most talent in this entire region, African region. So there's no excuses. I'm not trying to hear no excuses anymore. The time for excuses is over. Everything is out in the open. Every manager that comes here always keeps saying the same thing. So when does the buck stop where now we're going to say we have to hold people accountable now? SAFA needs to be held accountable. SAFA needs to be monitored. Needs to see where this money goes. But nothing's been done because even on the political side, it's a shambles. Even the national side, it's a shambles. So who are you going to hold accountable?
well, I mean, I'll put it as a debate. I mean, obviously, with strikers, I mean, averaging 17, averaging whatever, 14 goals, strikers should not be in the PSL. I think people started implementing more the English way, so because they thought maybe it will improve scoring ability, but not knowing that it will affect our development, in other words. So like, I think they were trying to fix players to score more goals in the system of our football, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked because that system over there is not catered. Obviously, it's not catered to us because obviously we more of a, I would say, similar to the Brazilian system. I think on our side we should be adopting more that system, which is carpet football is more like futsal. I don't know if you know futsal. I mean, skillful players
Is it six-a-side?
dribbling.
Yes.
Yeah, six-a-side. So that is the actual system that the South African team should be adopting, and they're really not adopting it because coaches are getting fired like every 2 years, which is not stable for the national side. I mean, if you look at every coach, I mean, every coach will come up with their own system. Hugo Bruce, I really wish we had Mamen Young so he can break down the whole coaching aspect, but I have tried to study his coaching, and like he tries to play with the wings. He tries to play with the wing play and crossing, and it's not catered to us. I mean, if you look at the players that we have, it's really it's really not good. It has to go down to who appointed this guy, and yeah, like who appointed this person, like in my opinion, because there are many coaches, like I said, that are here that can do the job. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and it just creates confusion, anyways. At the end of the day, can we really say that we're sitting down and we promoting our local coaches, we developing our local coaches properly? Because if you're looking at your like I say, your Germans, your Dutch, your English, there's always in-house promotion. They always promote these and develop these managers, because at the end of the day, it's only good for the national team, it's only good for the league as well. You get what I'm saying? So now the thing is, where we shuffling players after they retire, or just in general, someone, because you don't have to have played the game, you can understand the game. You don't have to have played it, and you can still become a manager. You look at your Nagelsmann, for example, young manager, 30, 30, 32, 33. You understand? He came into the game relatively young. He could still play. He could still jump on the pitch and play football. He never played football. He's someone who studied the game, and he became and now he's on one of the most successful young managers around. You understand? Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we allowing people? Because now, for me, I feel like you have to have like connections as to, okay, this guy played for this or that, and we like him. Because it's not about whether he played, it's whether they like you, whether you have a close relationship with people within SAFA or wherever, for you to be able to get to be developed or put in the right places. But if you don't have those sort of things, you're not cut out. Like, this is the way this country is at the moment, and they don't really take these things seriously. They don't realize that this is gonna be detrimental. Like, it's gonna be harder to fix the longer you let it go. It becomes way harder to fix, because when you sit here in the next 10 to 20 years, that's when they're gonna wanna sit and say, okay, we need to go back to how we used to do things, and then it's like, you wasted another 30 to 40 years, guys. Do you realize that it's gonna take another 30 or 40 years to make sure that comes back into place again? Because that's what happens. The damage is too much. The damage is too much, and this is the time where we need to fix it. This manager needs to go, first and foremost. If you're gonna bring Pizzo in, that's when the development stage needs to happen. This is where he needs to be saying, okay, I want football to change in this country. Let's promote what you call it, high school football again. Let's make sure that is televised. Let's make sure that we promote these things and get these players up and running. Let's change the style of football. Let's play the way that we know how. We can't be taking kids from the hood, come on, playing on dusty streets or even on pavement, doesn't matter. Taking them and bringing them into the national team to play sky football. Like I said, you can't be doing that. And people, I think like these guys really don't have football people, because to change our style, we didn't need to actually change our style of football entirely. We could have altered it in order for us to be able to score goals. Because when we say altered, we always said that South Africans usually didn't have, they were good on the ball, but they didn't know how to put the ball in the back of the net. So how do you utilize that? The best way to know how is to learn the basics. Teach them how to shoot the ball. You understand? Learn target practice. Like, target practicing is actually the most basic thing that everyone needs to be taught. Everyone at every level is taught that. Even Brazilians are taught that. Even when they were still playing their style of football, they were taught how to shoot. That's why you had your R9 who are good. Who else was it? It was Ronaldo.
Yeah, Rivaldo.
It was Ronaldo, Rivaldo. All these guys knew how to put the ball in the back of the net, and they scored quality goals. You know what I'm saying? Adriano as well. Adriano was a beast when he wasn't, before he gained weight and he lost whatever, his physique and everything. But he was a beast as well. So you're not gonna tell me that because you're playing a certain style of football that you can't alter it in order for players to be able to score goals. Brazil have proved that it's now void. They've proved that that's just rubbish. That's rubbish talk. So that's why I'm saying that there's people who are put there, they don't know what they're doing. So the person had thought that, oh, okay, to score goals now it means we gotta destroy everything that we've learned, everything that we know, and we just start all over and play a style of football we've never even played. No one plays that on the streets. When you go to the hood and you watch that, you don't see kids playing that style of football. Do you see kids trying to play carpet football? No. We're out here with dribbling, bro. We don't have time to be passing around and trying to be Barcelona on you know what I'm saying, on the dusty streets and everything. No, we're trying to dribble, we're trying to score. We want to make this fun. You understand? So, man, yeah, what you say?
Yeah, well, with that being said, I mean, the example of making a coach like Pito Masimane coach, will he be given a chance to implement a system to take us back to the original style of Iti Skelana, which is gonna take long? Because is he gonna be given a chance? Because he was coached before and then he was booted out because of whatever reasons. He was just, you know. So there are many other coaches. I mean, Jomason was there, and again, these coaches weren't given the proper chance. South African coach wasn't given a chance. Which other coach? Steve Compella there. I think Steve Compella at one point was coach.
Yeah, wasn't he?
On puzzle. I just want to get the facts right. But like, all these coaches have the capability of coaching Bafana Bafana. But will they be given a chance?
I'm with you on that one. I don't think they will be given a chance, to be honest. And realistically, we should be giving them a chance. If whoever we're bringing in, if he's gonna change structures, I'm willing, as a fan, I'll be willing to give him a chance, even if we're losing. But we know exactly what's happening in the background. We know that in the long run, it's not gonna hurt as much. In the short run, yes, it will be embarrassing, because going back is gonna take time. Like, people think it's gonna be a quick fix. It's not a quick fix. This is a huge problem here. This stems all the way down to the grassroots. So, if he's given the time, I think people will get behind. If per se they give him time and they say, okay, this is what we're trying to do. This is why this guy, we're giving him time. He's gonna do this. He puts out maybe the plans that he has, and says and tells everyone, in the country that I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. He'll get a lot of people on his side if he does that, because people will realize that this is the problem. This is the problem. And you can't always come back here 1 year later and discuss the same thing. You have to understand that that's the basis of it. It has to be solved. And the only way we can solve it is we have to tear down everything again. This whole thing needs to be scraped. In the league, we need to also require that the standard of football needs to also change. People are leaving. People are not even attending games anymore. Like, that's the thing. It's not even about their team are losing. No, it's not about that. It's about the style of football. Nobody wants to watch what we're trying to do in the PSL. Let's be honest. The reason why it has lost so much interest is because there's nothing to watch. People still attend tournaments here, in the hood or wherever. People go there in numbers. Like, I saw the last one that just played I think it was yesterday. There was a game that was playing just across, just near my house at the stadium. There was a lot of people who came and watched it. There was even a live commentator who was commentating the game. But people were enjoying it because that's the style of football that people want to see. That's what people go to games for. They don't go to games. People want to be entertained. People want to be entertained. They have to understand that. So, again, like I say, it has to come back to that point where we say that the style of football needs to change. There has to also be coverage with the younger players as well. We need to get them playing a certain style of football from an early age, so that it filters through every single development site that we have under Bafana Bafana. By the time they get to the national team, they will know exactly what is expected from them, without taking the basis of obviously they need to know the basics. They need to learn how to shoot. They need to learn how to do these things. These things are basics. That will allow them to go overseas. That will allow them to go overseas and prosper. But yeah, man. I mean, it's really that blatant. But we'll see how if that's gonna be done. But if I was Peter, legit, I was gonna come in there and tell them this is what I'm trying to do. And if you don't wanna do it, it's fine. I'm not gonna take the job, because he's got money. At the end of the day, he's got money and he still has his reputation intact. At the end of the day, no amount of money, anyways, can restore your reputation. People are gonna always say,
Unfortunately, I Xolo, to interrupt you, unfortunately, the powers have to lie with SAFA because once again, SAFA have, even though Pizzo might have the money that he has, SAFA like have, there's so many powers in SAFA, like there's so much corruption, like there to absolutely say to Pizzo, you know what, this is what this is what you're gonna do, and this is how you must do it. And even if a guy like Pizzo might come up and say, yo, this is how I want to play, but like if it's coming from the board upstate, from the director or the person that is running SAFA, so it has to stand from like some people gotta be fired from because they do not understand football in the first place. And the problem for me, the main problem for South African football today is SAFA. That's just the main problem that we have. Because there are people that are there that do not know. Like, firstly, they haven't played Itiske ever. Like I just mentioned him bluntly, Danny Jordan. This man has never played football ever, and he's there just.
that guy has many lives. I don't know how long he's been. He's been there since forever.
He's been there, he's like look, bro, like this guy has been. He's an old guy, but he's very old to be still there, and it's just not good for our football. For it to scare, it's just not good.
Mm.
How long must this guy be there for? So people realize that it is scared to. It's just not going anywhere.
Yeah, man. We need new people in there. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but I say, for example, I told you, in the next 20 years, don't expect any changes. These guys will need to be phased out for us to actually go back to what we need to do. Before they need to be phased out. Just like everything, there needs to be an end of an era, and their time will come. Hopefully, people who come through. And this is me just being hopeful because I don't even know this. So maybe in the next 20 to 30 years, if new people can come through and say, you know what, screw everything, we're tearing everything down, we're doing things differently. That's it. We're doing things differently. Then maybe that's when I actually have hope in this in the football in this country. Otherwise, my guy, we're gonna be sitting here and crying. This is why I don't cry anymore. Like, I'm very realistic when it comes to Bafana Bafana. I'm very realistic. I don't sit here and cry about it because I already know what to expect. When there's no structure, what expectation where is your expectation gonna come from? Because you can't just sit here and say, oh, let's just hope something just happen out of nowhere. That's been naive. That's been very naive, because if you know exactly what is wrong, there's no point in you even getting pissed off anymore, because it is what it is. It is the end result. It's always going to be the end result. We're going to struggle for the next 10 to 20 years. Trust me, it's going to be a huge struggle. But until these guys are eradicated, for me, I think we're done. I think we're personally done. I know people say I'm being negative, but you have to be realistic. This is what it's pointing out. Every manager that comes here is already telling you, is already complaining that I can't deal with this. You guys don't have an identity. I have to come here and I form a whole identity and I have to do something from scratch. That's wrong. We're setting all these managers up for failure. This is a job where you're gonna fail before you even begin it. So, man, I mean, this goes back. Obviously, I'm gonna address. You and I have to have another show where we address the owners in club football as well, because they also play a role to all of these things. At the end of the day, they also play a major role in development phase and everything that comes in the country. So, but right now it's just South Africa. I mean, it's Bafana Bafana. It's the national team problem. But what are your expectations in terms of going forward with the national team? Because you've heard mine. I've given up. So I just want to hear yours. Maybe you might be more positive than I am, but no, go ahead, man.
Well, on my side, I'm just I'm just a fan of Bafana Bafana. I'm not a fan. It's my country, so I always support anything dealing with being South African, even if it's hockey, rugby, cricket. So Bafana Bafana, they just need our support. That's it. Even though things may not change for quite a while, but I'll always be optimistic that maybe one day it'll go back to the 96, where they could win the AFCON challenge for the World Cup. I mean, I was watching highlights. I was actually checking out a clip on on Facebook where they were facing Argentina or Brazil. And Bafana Bafana were like almost like dominating the game. Skillfully, they were passing, there were combinations, they were just dominating basically the game. The only thing that defeated them was not able to score was when, Brazil, obviously, Roberto scored that goal. But like when it comes to the build up of our game, we tend to dominate games. It's just not anymore. So we just need to take it back to the structures, take it back to school, soccer. Even me, man, back in high school, I mean, we had a meeting in our school where we wanted Itiski to be played, and no one wanted it to be played in our school. So we were like frustrated, like, why is there no soccer in our school? There was every other sport. There was like rugby, cricket, all the other sports, and it has to boil down. It has to boil down to that, and it has to boil down to televising, which is something that personally, in time, my network, I want to televise more games election,
Yeah.
so people can actually get back to actually, where Itiski came from, where the love for dribbling, the love for Itiski. So that's basically what I would say.
No, I hear you, man. And that would actually be helpful, if more and more people actually took that route, because I feel like that's where the gap is, the missing gap is. And I feel like people now, when they watch games, they feel so when they watch PSL games, they feel so detached from football entirely, and especially when you look at when you're watching club football or whatever, whichever games that are playing, you can't associate that style with what you saw um, growing up, and in the hood, election. I mean, it's so different. It's so different. It's like you're watching you're in two separate countries in the same country. You understand? It's like you're moving from one country to another. It's so detached from everything. So I mean, it has to like there has to be more platforms now. Then people, this is a gap, and I'm grateful that you're gonna be one of those people who are gonna try and close that gap, where people now understand
I'm gonna try my best because I mean, yeah, I'm right next to Alex.
yeah,
Sometimes I go to one of the games and they like you say, like where you at, like the games are packed, bro, and the people are not just people are having fun. you know, Wabugama game. It's it was missing in it this year. So I mean, I've tried to watch PSL. I mean, I used to love PSL when I was young. Even now, I still do because of how I was. Even now, I rather watch a PSL game, or I'd rather watch a local game instead of watching a European game or a team. Even watching Man United, I'd rather go watch. I'm a staunch Man United fan. I'd rather watch local Diski because of the heritage of where he came from. But the heritage of where he came from, I don't see it anymore. So it frustrates me. So sometimes I end up like not really watching the game. I end up like I'm on my phone most of the time. I'm listening to the game, so I'm not really watching. So like I miss that type of vibe that I used to have when it came to watching. It is.
Yeah, man. Ish. I mean, I actually I felt guilty for some point, like when I stopped watching it, because I was complaining about this since 2008, 2009. I was legit coming to school, and people were like, why aren't you so invested in local football anymore and whatnot? And I was telling them that it's because the style is changing. People want us to be playing European football and stuff. And when you understand it, quite frankly, like you've got you watch European football, you watch local football, right? You support both sides. The reason why you are a fan of European sides is because they played a different style of football. The reason why you are a local fan of a local team, it's because they play another distinctive style of football. So now when you take away, when you make them both the same, basically like your local is just like your European football. Europeans have been doing it for many, many years, for close to half a century playing a certain style of football. They're obviously going to look better on the eye. Whereas if we try to copy them, we look like a poor man's European football. We're playing a poor man's European style of football. So I'm obviously not going to watch that, because if I turn my TV and watch a European match and I go back and I watch a PSL match, I'm not going to want to watch the PSL match. You understand? Because it's like the quality in terms of football is way too, there's levels to this. People don't understand that there's levels. And when people come out and say this, South African football has improved, that's bull. That's absolutely bull. I don't know what you guys have been seeing. You need eye
On
test.
my side, they there are some games where it's high quality. I won't say high quality, it's okay quality.
Yeah.
But like most of the games, like the low games that you would see, like maybe you watch like Stellenbosch versus I don't know, Bidvest Spits or something of that sort. Okay, Bidvest versus the top team, like Amazulu, Amazulu versus Stellenbosch. No one really would go and watch that game simply because one, there are hardly any fans in the stadium. So broadcasting wise, it's not really exciting for people even like watching the game, even for people that are at the stadium. So, and the game itself won't be high quality. It won't be fast. There was a time, PSL football, where it was relatively entertaining. It was very, very entertaining. It is scared. I won't say it was like fast, but it was like skill on a level of like shit, like on a level of like 10 to 10 skillful wise. But it doesn't have that anymore. So like it's very hard to watch what you're saying, like to watch African football players trying to emulate a system that they do not know. And this is basically what's happening in our football.
No, that's true, because
So that's why, yeah,
yeah,
that's why it's so difficult. That's why for it's very difficult to watch all the PSL games. Even for me, like I used to watch like all of them.
bro.
Like, I even used to miss a beat, bro. Like, when I was young, I used to watch each and every game. I knew each and every player in the PSL. not
You,
today.
you just
Because
reminded
yeah,
me. It's funny enough. It's like you knew that at which point I was heading into, because I was about to say that you could watch literally almost every game. You could watch Santos versus Manning Rangers or Hellenic versus,
exactly.
because the football, dude, was good. Was good on the eye. You could legit be, and um I remember because my brother also was watching every single game. Every single, like European football was secondary. You understand? We watched it then. We would watch Man United then. They, even though Man United were dominating, and the likes of Beckham and all these guys, but like PSL was still number one. Would sacrifice some of the European games to watch almost, if not all of the games in the PSL. So this is why I'm saying, it's not for me. That it's not really that there's no attendance or anything like that. I feel like people don't attend for a specific reason. It's that reason. Because people would want to watch a football game regardless of which teams are playing. If there's like legit, there's a style of football. That's a, that's why people go to township games. Why are people going to township games? It's not like you're gonna see a star there or whatever, but they know what they're gonna get. It's entertainment. Back in the day, you got entertainment from watching Hellenic versus Manning Rangers or Santos versus, you knew you were gonna get entertainment. Nowadays, it's like, there's you pick and choose which games you can go to, because specific games will be just better than others. The rest of them will just be entirely crap. So this is the problem. You know what I'm saying? That's why people won't even bother coming to games like that, because I feel like even smaller teams back in the day, they didn't fill up stadiums, but there was a significant attendance. People did go to games. You understand?
Mm.
So, I remember here, just here, because I live opposite the stadium here where I live. Ria Stars was our team. Really Dwaba, she was the one that who was the chairman of the club. So like Ria Stars home games, they played them here. They used to play Vets here. They used to play all these guys. So we saw Stenton. Like those games, Ria Stars versus Vets was actually an entertaining game. You literally wanted to pay. We paid to go in there. We literally wanted to go and pay and watch that game because we knew what we were getting. It was entertaining. The likes of Stenton, Stiga, Fredericks, when they were playing for Vets, when they were still playing for Vets, dude, that was games for games. You understand? It was so entertaining. The stadiums were packed for a game like that. If for example, Black Leopards were to play here and play another team, I'm telling you now, it's an empty stadium nowadays. It's very empty. Here at the very same stadium. This is why I'm making the comparison. It's empty because you know what you're gonna get. There's no entertainment. People would rather watch guys who have retired from football, who are 35, 36. They literally fill up a stadium here. Guys who are 35, 33, playing Sunday league, they fill up a stadium. Stadium is full. Stadium is full for the games like that, but they're not full for a PSL game. Can you tell me why? It all comes back to the style of football thing. It all comes back to that thing. It's nothing else, guys. Like it's really that simple. That's where the foundation has to start, and this is where it needs to end. I'm not trying to hear any other point besides that. You understand? So
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Um, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but things just need to go back to where they were, and we just have to find a way, beginning with firing everyone in South. Everyone just needs to go. The same thing that has to happen there has to happen. The same thing that it has to happen at Man United probably has to happen at South.
yeah. Now that's another topic that actually boiled me up, but we'll have that discussion another day, because I've exhausted all my energy in terms of the our state of football here. But hey, that one is another one that we gotta have a conversation with. I think we'll do that in the next show, just to narrow things down. But yeah, man. Otherwise, man, no, thank you for joining me, man. It's been enlightening, and like I feel like I've had a lot on my weight in terms of I had to get a lot off my chest in terms of the state of football here, man. It's crumbling. There's so many cracks, and it's just like it's showing itself. Like everything is just out there in the open. Now the question is, do these guys want to be? Do they want to continue overlooking this, or will they change? I don't believe in change when it comes to SAFA. I'm sorry, SAFA have been operating the exact same way for many years. So, I mean, what do you think? Because I know you say you hope we get back to the 96.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see. I mean, yeah, we just have to wait and see what's going to happen. And it also, yeah, not really hopeful, but like, yeah, ithemba encane nje encane sakhona ukuthi izinto zizolunga. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
But you just have to wait and see on what's going to happen. If they don't start investing in our former players that have played, then the same thing is going to happen for years to come.
No, definitely, man. Definitely. Nice one. Yeah, man. It's been a pleasure always, man, to have you here. And I feel like you're the only one I can vent this out to because hey, so many people are like, hey, tired of
Because
complaining.
you understand where this should be, but it's not there. So it's really not there. So, but we just have to wait and see.
Nah, definitely, man. Oh yeah, tell everyone where they can like catch you, doing your shows, especially the sports shows, because I know you're not just a football man, you're a basketball man, you're a rugby man, you're everything. So
Well, at first I run a network called Thembela Mandela Network. That's the network I run, which presents two shows, which is the T-Man Show and Boogerman TV. Boogerman TV touches on everything sport, all the aspects of Idiski, from the fan to rugby, cricket, all the sports, health and fitness. T-Man Show touches on more the music and the art side of updating people about events. And in the near future, I want to broadcast live at certain events so I can groom talent, find talent. And yeah, it's all about the upcoming artists. Obviously bridging the gap between Amahotman and the artists that are coming up in the game just now. Just recently, I also thought about like having the Thembela Mandela Network presenting like updating you about shows that are coming out, like soapies, movies, maybe a history lesson about how movies are shot, music videos, how they shot, having guests to speak about actually shooting more films and documenting more stories. So I'm just trying to put my thinking cap together on how I'm going to do that. And yeah, I'm just putting those things on board right now.
nice one, man. Definitely looking forward to all that content that's coming our way.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Obviously, you and I we're still gonna do many shows. Sunday we're still gonna be on. We're gonna be on your show. We're gonna. Yeah. What are we discussing on Sunday, by the way?
Well, on Sunday, I'm really off the head type cat when it comes to. We can definitely discuss the World Cup because the World Cup group just got announced. The different groups got announced. Euro Nations is still happening, and I'm gonna try get my homie Amu to speak about basketball because the final just happened and the Warriors obviously took it. So I was actually
Told you guys. I made that prediction. I made that prediction. I remember.
well, I was hoping that the Celtic would do because of the history.
Yeah.
They've won the most out of the playoffs Not the most. They equal with another team. They've won like 17.
Yeah.
And like I was thinking maybe Celtic will take it, but Warriors, Steph Curry was doing
Yeah.
some amazing things on court. So yeah, but we'll wait and see, man, on Sunday what the show is gonna be about. I'm still gonna get more content about what's happening locally in my area in terms of sport. There was a tournament that was happening just here at Red Hill Sports Ground, so I'm just gonna try to do more research on the teams that were actually playing, and maybe I might give you info about the sport that is happening in Lima Sabet, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
No, definitely, man, definitely. Always a pleasure having you here. Obviously, guys, you can like, share, make sure you share or like the video. Let's get as many people onto this podcast. Because the thing is, there are people asking, they're like, where can we find this podcast? You're doing podcast? Because we told them, there's a time where that news broke out where our national team coach was saying, obviously, what we discussed today that the development in the country is just abysmal. So I told this one guy, I'm like, guys, you must check our podcast because we've been discussing this. Remember, we had this discussion a while ago, and
Yeah, a while ago.
"Hey, where can we get you?" And we're like, no, you can follow us on this and this and this. So guys, we're available everywhere, man. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook as we are right now. So you can get us everywhere. Me, you can get me at Lisso Football TV, and him, you can get him at Boogerman TV, Instagram. He
Yeah,
holds the one show, like he runs the entire show. He runs everything. So
yeah, I try.
um, they can pretty
I
much
try.
get
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, just like, share, and let's and leave your comments and tell us what you guys think about the whole situation in South Africa. But yeah, man, once again, thanks for joining me, and we'll be back on Sunday on the Boogerman TV on Instagram. Make sure you tune in, guys, and yeah, your support is always immense.
Always appreciated.
So yeah, man. No, have a lovely evening, man. We'll check you out on Sunday.
All right, man.
Peace out.
Peace out.